This time I want to introduce Mr. Jim Butler. Mr. Butler is the head of our band program here at HSMA. And I'll let him talk more about himself.
Thanks, Phil. Well, I'd like to speak mostly right now to the parents of our students here. And this is a warning. It was about 27 years ago that I and my wife enrolled our two oldest children in HSMA, and about a couple of years later, I was a conductor here. Mrs. Hammer came to moved with her husband up to Lansing between 15 and 20 years ago, and they enrolled their two daughters in HSMA, and she soon afterwards became a conductor here. A couple of years ago, Mike Cerrillo came and enrolled his son here at HSMA, and now he is a conductor. And I'm here just to tell you that you may be next. But Mrs. Hammer used to run a small homeschool music group in Traverse City, and when Mr. Case found that out, her fate was sealed, and she was soon enlisted among our conductors. Mr. Cerrillo actually volunteered a couple of years ago, and we put him right to work. And we're very glad that we have these two very talented and dedicated conductors. Are you starting, Mr. Cerrillo?
I'm starting.
Let me introduce Mr. Cerrillo.
So this has been a great year. We started the year with some students who this is their second year playing music, and some have been a little longer. But we have challenged them throughout the year, and they have risen to the challenge. We're playing music that I played in high school, and something we're playing in the second year, doing very well at it. And I want to congratulate all the students for working very hard on their practice times and for doing their best effort. And I hope you enjoy our concert.
back and the strings to come on. So while we do that, I just wanted to tell you, I kind of alluded a little bit to the whole drafting that I put in, and then Jim played that pretty thick too. But, you know, just because you're a parent, I just think it doesn't mean you have to be a connector. So, we do have several parents that you saw up here. Several parents just join and they play alongside the kids. Some of them played when they were younger and they picked it back up after many years off and they enjoy making music again. Others, they've never played before and they started with their kid in beginning strings or beginning band. They learned a new instrument. We've had a few parents who actually continued playing with the group even after all their kids graduated and moved away. We'd love to have them. So it's just really good to see the parents working right alongside their kids. It's a lot of fun. And as I said, our goal here is to provide an ensemble experience for homeschool students. So we do that by providing the framework for the kids to really excel. A few things that we do. One, we have our rehearsals every Monday night. Two, we encourage private lessons and instruction in other ways. And then three, we also have practice requirements. So we do have a requirement that the students who are performing will practice for 270 minutes a week at this level, or the younger levels 180 minutes a week. And we've had several students in the level for many years who they started off on some instrument and been playing for quite a long time. But they never really had consistent practice at home. They never really put the time into it. When they started, they had that structure, they really blossomed as a musician, and they're doing quite well now. So that's our goal here, is to provide a way for homeschool families to really get their kids going with music and to have an ensemble experience. All right, we're all set? All right, please join me in welcoming the combined concert band and junior orchestra.
So, last semester, I was looking for some new music, and my wife found this piece and said, this will be a great challenge. And it has been something that will, one of the things we're looking for is to prepare our students for the next ensemble, and for our groups, that would be the symphony orchestra. And this would be, for some people, for most here, this is their first symphony orchestra type of experience. And I want to thank my wife for finding this piece. It's a very fun piece to listen to.
thank you all for coming tonight. As I said, we do have a concert for next Monday, the 19th. It's at Covenant Life Community Church. At 7 p.m. That'll feature our chancel choir and our symphony orchestra. Tonight, we have some cookies for you. So if you go out that way, and then you go that way, and that way, and that way, and that way, you'll get to the cookies. Just follow the person in front of you. We do ask, please, that you enjoy the cookies in the room that they're currently in. So don't leave the room holding the cookie. Okay, you eat them in there, and then you can leave, right? Also, if you have a student here today who has an instrument, a case somewhere in the building, please help them take care of their instrument, get their case, and get out of that room before they go enjoy the cookies. Otherwise, we can't close the doors and lock things up and whatnot until everyone's done eating everything. Okay? So I'll have a word of prayer, and then we'll head out for some cookies. Thank you, Lord, for the evening that we had tonight. I ask, Lord, that you would bless the cookies that we have here soon and the fellowship that we'll have, and watch over as we go home tonight. Just name and pray. Amen. Thank you.